think there's a massive gap in this world that we live in right now where I think there's a big need for operations people in the online world.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the High Level Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I'm joined by Ravi Abuvala. He is the founder and CEO of Scaling with Systems, which is a B2B growth accelerator that's helped over 1,400 businesses scale through paid ads, sales funnels, and a fully trained operational talent, which is pretty interesting. We're going to hop into that in a second. Ravi, thanks so much for coming on.
Chase, thanks so much for having me here. I really do appreciate it.
Ravi, you look like a pretty young dude. How do you have all this business experience in what I'm assuming is a semi-short lifetime so far?
Yeah, I guess it's a safe assumption. It depends. I feel like as I get older in this internet world, I'm like starting to become a grandpa. I feel like if you're not 18 years old and making $2 million a year, you're just like, old and useless, I feel like, but which is what I felt like a few years ago. But yeah, I'm 27 years old. I've been in the online world for about 3 years. I've just been really blessed, I guess, to have some really great mentors that have helped me and kind of showed me along the way. But I was going to law school. I actually dropped out of law school about 3 years ago. And my dad had stage 4 lung cancer. It's a whole story we won't get into here, but it's essentially decided that like law wasn't for me. And then I got hit with a Tai Lopez ad that I'm sure many people that are watching this video have probably seen as well. I bought a first online program and I actually have met Tai Lopez, and although the program wasn't that great in my personal opinion, it introduced me to a world where you could make money online, and it introduced me to the online marketing world. And then I just kept on reinvesting and reinvesting. And I've been really blessed to have great mentors who pretty much taught me all of their mistakes in a much shorter amount of time. And that's essentially how I got to where I am today.
That's awesome. So I had to look around your website, getting ready for the interview and whatnot, and I was impressed with a lot of what I saw. First was the really, really clear H1 that you have on your homepage, right? So when you hit the page, the first thing that you see, it says, we help entrepreneurs go from 0 to $1 million plus in 12 months or less with 50% profit margins. That's like a really specific headline, which is fantastic, right? That's a major differentiator. You're not a marketing agency. You're not like growth wizards. It's something really specific. If I read that, I want to go from 0 to $1 million in 12 months with 50% profit margin. So one, I think it's an amazingly clear message. Two, the flip side of that is, wow, that's a lot to back up. You're taking people to $1 million plus in 12 months consistently.
Yeah. It's actually pretty interesting that you brought that up. I had a call with somebody yesterday where we were talking about the same thing. So I think that we live in a world right now in marketing where obviously everybody is saturated, right? Like, I mean, we get hit by on average 3,500 brands every single day. So in order for your message to stand out, you got to make big, bold claims. And there's obviously, I'm sure you probably know who Dan Sullivan is, wrote the Ultimate Sales Letter, but he talks about headlines inside of there. And he talks about like at every stage of saturation inside your market, you either have to increase the boldness of your claim, shorten the amount of time frame, or add like a mechanism on the back end that says like, hey, here's how you can do this thing using this new way that you may have never heard of before, right? And so where I'm in, obviously, the business-to-business growth space, which is massively saturated. And even though we have thousands and thousands of in-depth case studies, you might have even seen on that website you were on there, we still have to make big, bold claims. And so our dream target market, who we can actually help, we have taken multiple companies from 0 to $1 million in 12 months or less. Do we take everybody there? I'd be lying to you if I said yes. But we also take plenty of people from 0 to $500,000, 0 to 300,000, or from 300,000 to $1 million. So it's definitely there to capture people's attention. And we've done it before. So that's why we're able to essentially make the claim. And if you are qualified, we can definitely help you get there. But you have to remember that if I, like you just said a second ago, I help you get leads, no one's going to click on my website. No one's going to book a time in order to speak with us. So I think good marketing is having a big, bold claim, and then a great business is being able to back it up. Scammers are when you have a big, bold claim and then you're not able to back it up. So that's just the main difference in that.
No, I think it's great. And I think it's a great example when we try to explain to people how to differentiate. That's crystal clear. You know exactly what to expect when you're heading over to your site. So you do this through paid ads and through funnels, which are very familiar to our community, right? That's what most of high-level customers are agencies of some sort that are running paid ads to funnels, automating the lead nurture. So, I don't want to go too deep into there, but what I do want to go to, which I think is the unique piece in what I saw of your model, is the fact that you guys place a trained operator in the business. And so we talked about this real quick before we hit record. There's this great book called Rocket Fuel. I have it on the shelf back there. And it really resonated with me because I used to run operations for an agency before I joined the high level team. And
Very cool.
the tandem model that they talk about was I was living it. You have a CEO who's the visionary, and then you have this operator person, which we'll talk about in a second. And they're responsible for basically taking the visions and executing on them, right? And it's that relationship that a lot of the top companies in the world have grown through by having that sort of tandem pair. It sounds like from what I gather, you're placing that person in a company, and then how does that work? Do you leave them behind? Are they part-time for several companies?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, you nailed it on the head. Obviously, I can tell you've done operations and you've read the book before. But so like to explain that really quickly, when I originally launched Scaling with Systems, like I just said a second ago, we had to have something that was different in the market, right? Kind of the same way we love GHL, like, obviously everything included inside of one, there's nothing else out there that offers the same thing. So we were trying to think of, when I first launched Scaling with Systems, I was like, all right, if I'm just another program that helps companies scale, I'm the same as everybody else. And so one of the things I knew that if I could help people achieve the results faster with less work, they'd be willing to pay me more money and we'd have more results. And so when I originally launched the company about 2 years ago, I actually interviewed Robin and Sean at my house. I have an interview with them at my house, which is pretty funny. But when I originally launched the company, we actually were placing virtual assistants inside of our clients' company. So we were training Filipino virtual assistants to come in and do 500 to 1,000 cold pieces of outreach every single day. And we were getting all these agency owners, coaches, everybody else who would come in. And within they've been trying to hit 10K a month for years. They get in within 7-10 days, boom, 10K a month, 30K a month. It was predictable because they no longer had to do the lead generation aspect of it. It was coming in, they're just getting on calls. And I mean, the case studies, the testimonies, I was like, this is it. But we've now come to the point inside the company that as our brand has grown, that I love virtual assistants. I've placed over 2,200 virtual assistants in the past 2 years. They're incredible. But as you have run operations inside of as an agency before, there is definitely a skill difference between a virtual assistant and a full-time integrator, like a real operator who is pretty much the person that is the full stop responsible for everything day-to-day inside of a company. And so I just knew that there was this widening gap between what my clients needed after they got to the point of 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand a month, and what I was able to provide them. And so we just did a small little test where I have a higher level program called the Scaling Initiative. And I said, if I train somebody to come in and remove you from the day-to-day operations, what would you pay and would you be willing to do it? And they gave me a number, and I went out to my audience and I gathered together people that I knew could be really qualified. I trained them one-on-one for 90 days, and then I placed them inside my clients' companies. And once again, majority of the time worked out incredibly well. Now these guys are fully removed. All they're doing is doing interviews like these, shooting YouTube videos, maybe shooting ads, and the integrators are running all the day to day. And so now that we found product market fit on that high level side, now, no pun intended, now we're doing it for all of our clients as well, where they join our company and we're having a fully trained integrator come in and within the first 7 days, build a sales funnel, set up their Go High level, do a reactivation campaign using Go High level, set up any automations they need to get set up their sales systems so that they're able to remove themselves and focus on scale. Because I think you and I know, I think everybody has enough information, right? There's enough information out there. I don't think, although I would love to toot my own horn, nothing that I'm teaching is so revolutionary. That's totally different. Nobody's ever seen it before. I think one of the things that makes it work is just the implementation and the action behind it. So I knew that, all right, I could either wait for my client to take action, which I used to run an advertising agency for real estate agents, and I had to have an ISA come in and call the leads for the real estate agents because they weren't doing it. And I said, well, what if I did that for agency owners and coaches where instead of them doing the work, I just train someone to do the work for them. And that's essentially what they do. So 24 hours after you join our program, you're on an interview with someone US based that's going to come in and set up your Go High level, set up all of the stuff and essentially implement it for you. And to answer your final question, it can either be the one-on-one relationship that you wanted. So that we have integrators that want to work just with a fast growing company and help them scale. And then we also have clients who just want them for a few hours a week. And we have integrators who want more of kind of the agency, I help 5 or 6 clients kind of thing. So we have a full recruitment department inside our company that will match them up together based on that.
And I'm assuming they have to be, they're all remote. So it's more affordable than actually trying to partner
someone
with
locally.
somebody.
Yeah. So they're all remote 100%. I'd say about 95% of them are based in the United States. We do have some in India and other places around the world, South America, France, but majority of them in the United States, and they are remote. Obviously, I think that the world has shown us in the past few years that you can efficiently. I run a 30-person company remote as well. Like, I think you guys are obviously remote. I know you're in Mexico. We had that laugh before this. So yeah, we have them all remote. And like you said, it's much more efficient that way. They get more work done, and then allows them to essentially be able to do what you're doing right now, which is, probably spend time with your family, live in a country that you want to live in, and not have to show up to the 9 to 5 office every single day.
Really interesting. And it's really impressive, man, because if you've read that book, the book was amazing for me as the operator. And in the book, they call it the integrator, because it essentially says, at least how I read it, that the integrator should almost have more power than the CEO. Like, the CEO's job is to want to do a million things and have all these great ideas and predict the future of the company, all this stuff. But it's the integrator who sort of determines, like, we can do this, this, and this now, and then that's it. And then we're going to do that, that, and that, and in this order. And like, you can't break out. Like, once we agree on the plan, like, the CEO can't just come and start breaking it. And so it really empowered me when I was in that role, because I was like, look, we have the luck to be in this relationship that this book shows is such a powerful one, but we need to solidify the parameters a little bit. And so let's buy into this. And it really helped. So when you were saying, there's a big gap between a VA and an integrator, it's a huge gap. I mean, sure. The integrator is integral to that model. And so it's fascinating to me that you've come up with a system to train integrators so well that you can trust that that they are what they need to be, but also still be remote and affordable. I think that's really a potentially powerful system that you've created.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And you nailed it on the head. So first of all, every one of our integrators, we actually give them that book. So that's a gift that we give them. It's because, like you said, the integrator is more powerful than the CEO, but at the same time, they get the least amount of appreciation or recognition for the work that's done. You know what I mean? So it has to be a really specific type of person. Like, I have our integrator, Raj, who pretty much runs the company so that I can do stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, he does get notoriety, and he is, like, well known, but obviously not as well known as the CEO. But for his personality, like, he's totally fine with that. The people in the company, they worship the ground that he walks on. What he says goes, like, so he gets his own validity the way that he wants to. But it is definitely a certain type of person that can come inside of a company, get paid less than technically the CEO, but do arguably more work. And then at the same time of all that as well, you are getting, like, the least amount of appreciation also. So, and so I think it's pretty awesome the way that we've set it up. And then it's definitely not like, okay, you come in, we can place you, it's no problem at all, go meet one of the clients. There's a pretty rigorous process of, like, first of all, we do personality tests to make sure that they would match up with the CEO correctly of the new company. We do proficiency tests to make sure that they actually know. We test them on Go High Level. We test them on automations. We test them on systems. We give them sample business problems. We do mock interviews so that they can sell themselves correctly. So, like, it's our obligation both on the client side as far as the CEO and on the integrator side to make sure it's the best fit possible, so that when they do start working together, like, we have a guarantee inside of our company. I won't use the full thing, so, because I know you have a child there, but it's where the F have you been all my life guarantee, which is like, if within 90 days you don't think that where the F has this person been all my life, then, like, you'll get a full refund on the program. That's pretty much how we have it set up.
It's really, I'm super intrigued, man, because I think there's a winning formula out there, right? When you talk to the GHL community, so many of our customers are agencies that know the formula, right? You run paid ads, 2 funnels, you automate the nurture, and then you work on closing, right? Like, it's not rocket science, but I feel like that book does a good job of illustrating a lot of agency owners are the CEO, the visionary, but they haven't found the integrator. And I feel like the book does a good job illustrating, like, if you're in that position, you're kind of in trouble, because the integrator thinks a different way. They're the one that makes sure everything is running in a system and like clockwork and efficiently. And so it's really interesting, man. I can see a lot of people watching this and having that realization for the first time of, like, wait, I'm trying to run my company, but I'm the CEO, and maybe this isn't why things are working like I want them to.
And
Cause
it's a little
I'm all over
humbling
the
too.
place.
Yeah, it's a little humbling at the same time. You're like, wait, I can't do everything inside of, and like, and if you've never, and the crazy thing too is like, we have a lot of agency owners that are coming and being integrators. So they're coming, like, so we have full blown, which is honestly what we prefer because like they already know 90% of the stuff, right? Because they've been running a business on their own. But just like you said, the book, you literally take a test and you see, am I more of an integrator or more of a visionary? And you kind of have to sobering be like, actually, I'm more of an integrator than a visionary. So like I need to team up with a visionary in order to be able to lead this. So we have a lot of people that have run agencies and maybe they didn't scale to what they wanted to, or maybe they dealt with the same problems that all business owners have, like, losing that time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, that kind of stuff. But we have a lot of people that are coming in with that previous experience. And then also to the integrator's credit, like we had someone just get matched up yesterday where, it got paid a 6-figure salary up front, the integrator. And then if it works out in 90 days, they're talking about an equity deal, right? So then they can even, as an integrator, you're coming in there, you can even come in and potentially get a piece of this company that you're helping grow either through equity or profit share. So a lot of the times that's only going to make sense if obviously both parties are happy and they're all making some money,
That's really interesting. Now, what about the flip side? What if you're an integrator who started a company and you're like, you know what, I really need the CEO. I need the person, the face of the company, the outgoing personality, the visionary who's going to forecast our future type of stuff. Do you also do coaching as part of your program? Like,
yeah, so that's definitely what we do. So we have to do both. So we have a pretty large demand on honestly both sides. We have more of a demand, if I'm being transparent, on people that want to be integrators than we have people that want the integrators. But that's just because there's obviously more people that are trying to work for somebody than there are I think it's Rocket Fuel. They talk about like the 3% of entrepreneur, the 3% of people that give jobs to the 66% of people, right? Mm-hmm. So like obviously there's a dichotomy between that, and our job is going through the people that want to become an integrator, filtering out the great people and then placing with our clients. But even the people that figure out they're an integrator, they come through us, and let's say we don't place them with our clients, we still teach them on how. I still think an integrator in today's economy, like I see these people placing salespeople and setters, and which I think is all awesome. But I think there's a massive gap in this world that we live in right now, where I think there's a big need for operations people in the online world, right? Like where people are familiar with Go High Level and can set up a funnel and can do an onboarding process for your clients and even do the onboarding call, whatever needs to be done in order to execute the vision. And so like we'll have people that come in, and we do run a program, it's called Remote Integrator Academy. We'll teach them how to be an integrator for another company, then how to sell yourself as an integrator for another company, and then where to go find these clients. But to be really honest with you, the way that, I'm obviously a little biased, but the way that I explain to them is like, if you do everything correctly here, it'll be the easiest sell you ever have in your entire life. Because like, if you can really give back a business owner their time and at the same time make them more money, it's almost a no-brainer for the business owner. Like you'd have to be really, I have to do everything to not see the value inside of that. And we've actually seen that like mirrored with some of what our students are saying.
Wow, that's really awesome, man. It would, what an advantage to not have to go. First of all, if you're the CEO, you don't know the playbook that needs to be built because you're not an operator, right? You don't think that way. So first you would have to figure that out. Then you would have to find somebody capable. Then you would have to train them up. So to be able to just get somebody out of the box who's not only knows all that, but also is specifically trained with high level, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And on top of that, like by the time you come to the point that you're thinking, I need an operator, you don't have time. Like you're already at the point that you have zero time to go find, like decide what you want them to do, then go. And then where do you go find them? Like, I hired an executive assistant recently, and like obviously everybody in the online world, everyone works remote, but I needed someone to come to my house and like, water plants and stuff like that. So I had to go on like ZipRecruiter and Indeed. And, I'm taking these people who don't even know, it's funny. We live in this, I think, obviously I know your community, but like we live in this online world where like, if you don't know what Go High Level is or Zapier or like, sales funnels, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're out of this world. Right. But the 99% of this world has no idea what any of this stuff is. So anytime I've ever had to take someone on the outside, there's this massive learn. They're like, wait, you sell stuff online? I don't understand. Like, I thought that was people that scam people, or I thought that was only people on OnlyFans. Like, so you have to like, so the nice thing about this as well is, especially if you're already at the point that you need somebody to come to, not only the point that they're trained up in the skills, but they also understand how the business model works. They understand how the online world works. They even come in with a connection of their own. I think is awesome. Also a massive value add to a lot of our clients.
Wow. Super cool. So what's the future? Random question. Are you guys going to, or maybe you already work with people in e-com? We're going to start rolling out in Q4, we're going to start working on a Shopify integration, which I'm super excited about. I
Wow,
feel
that's
like
awesome.
when high level meets Shopify, I feel
It's
like it's
game
going to be
over.
global domination.
I
So
know my goal is to try to keep up with you guys. That's my goal right now, honestly. It's like every time it's like, God, these guys are rolling out something else. Yeah, for us, I honestly don't know. First of all, I'm really blessed, not to be cheesy, but I really do love what I do. I could do this exact same thing that I'm doing right now for 30 years. And as far as I'm concerned right now, I'd be totally satisfied. Like I have no ideas for world domination or anything like that. I am in the business. We work with a lot of SaaS startups, a lot of SaaS companies as well. And so I do, as a systems expert and someone who believes in the efficiency of systems and profitability, I see the lure of software, right? I'm definitely very well aware of like the ability, the infinite scalability of software. And if you guys like go high level, have done, and it can actually solve a massive problem, like, it's lights out. I mean, watching you guys grow has been so awesome, to be really quite frank with you. Like, ClickFunnels, I came into ClickFunnels, like obviously after they'd already seen massive growth and all of that, but like to watch you guys from inception to where you guys are now, it's just like, and having, them at my house, it's been a surreal experience. And I'm super happy and proud of you guys. So, maybe eventually something along those lines, if I ever did want to go to that point, I could see, we've discussed potentially like a platform connecting more of the integrators and the online integrators and online CEOs, like kind of business owners as well. But as of right now, we're getting really great feedback from just the way that we have it set up with the recruiting department and in the coaching and all of that. So we're probably going to keep on scaling this the way that it is.
well, let me ask you, before I ask you where people should go if they're interested in getting an integrator or learning more about what you guys are doing, what is the typical price range to hire an integrator so that people just have a realistic idea before you get flooded with people saying, yeah, find me somebody?
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to ask that. So we have a one-time upfront placement fee. And then after that, you can pay the integrator anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 a month. A lot of the integrators that we have come on board, one of the ways, I'm not promising you guys is going to happen, but one of the ways we train them in order to get clients is actually doing like 7, 14, or 30 days of work for free. So I'm not going to ask you guys to come on here and abuse somebody and like just take them for work. But, I hired a media buyer the other day who manages one other account. They spend $4 million a month on ads, and he started working with our ads. And when he came to us, I'm like, if you're hiring somebody and you've been in this situation, you're like doing your math in your head, like, all right, what is the number he's going to pitch me at the end of this? What is he going to say? Like, you're already calculating it. And he said, this is the number. And I was like, oh, that's pretty reasonable. Like, if you can make me the return on investment of that, then like, there's no problem. And then he was like, but the first 30 days, you're not going to pay me a dime, and I'm going to set this all up for you. And I was like, and I was interviewing 6 media buyers that week. And I was like, cancel all the other appointments. This person's hired. So I shared that story with my integrators. It's actually in our program. And so a lot of them choose to do it that way. So a lot of times, the way that I talk about it is the results economy, not the time economy. So the way that they're said is like, I know that I'm only going to get paid if I can help this entrepreneur make more money. So let me show you how I can make more money, because I'm not trying to be someone who just clocks in, clocks out, because that's like the first person to go. So it's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 a month, just depending on, and we, just like our virtual assistants, we just take an upfront placement fee, and then you guys pay them. They're your contractors. We don't have any more. And then we nurture the integrator and handle any kind of questions, comments, concerns, or the entrepreneur. They have coaching calls, either one, that they can hop on and get their questions answered as well.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing that. So where do they go if people are
Yeah,
interested?
so I guess the simplest way to go, and I appreciate, first of all, you having me on here, Chase. Seriously, this was awesome. It's funny also how small this world is. We won't tell everybody else that's listening to this, but it is. I was like, right when I knew that, I was like, this will be a great interview. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to hop on the call with me. That means a lot. And for everybody that listens in the GHL community, thank you guys so much for your time and energy. I really do appreciate and respect that. I know you guys could be doing anything else right now. As far as places to go, if you are a business owner looking to essentially hire an integrator, I would go to scalingwithsystems.com, just scalingwithsystems.com. At the top of the page, there's a button where you can book a time and speak with us. And then if you're a person looking to potentially be an integrator and then get placed, you can go to scalingwithsystems.com/integrator. And there's actually a little training on there. And then you can book a time to speak with us if you'd like to from there.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, honestly, I'm sure there are a lot of people that like we talked about before, I'm going to use this opportunity to give the integrators the love that they deserve, right? If
I
you're
like
like
it.
a systems master and you're like, what the heck? Oh, I'm stuck in this role. I should be getting paid more. Like, I'm the one that makes this whole thing work. Yes, you are. Like, there are CEOs that are looking for you, and you just need to find one that understands the importance of that relationship. And it sounds like Ravi has sort of a path to get into one of those roles. And it sounds like there's a decent pay range. I mean, if you're new to it, I could see getting someone on the lower side, like 3,000 a month. That's pretty reasonable. 5K, even 10K though. Once you see it happening and it's proving and it's working with your business, 10K a month would be well
It's
worth
nothing.
it to have.
Yeah, you're like, oh, geez, I would pay double, 3 times that. You know what I mean? So like, and even you get access to profit share as well, right? So if you can actually be bringing in more deals because you built a sales funnel that's adding an extra this amount of money every single month, we've seen a profit share. I mean, we have integrators making 30, 40, $50,000 a month. Like that's not uncommon.
Wow. That's fantastic. Well, Ravi, thanks so much for coming on, man. This has been great.
Chase, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.